Hello, this is Steve Shaw, Secretary Rules Editor for NCAA Football, and today we're going to talk about our change in Rule 6, namely the two-man wedge formation on free kicks. Now this video is intended for both coaches and officials, and we're going to review the rule and then we're going to look at some specific plays so we all have a good working knowledge of this rule change. As we look into the words of the rule change, the intent of this is around player safety. And as we know, a wedge is defined as two or more players aligned shoulder to shoulder within 2 yards of each other on a free kick. And once the ball's kicked, it's illegal now for two players. Before it was three, now it is two to come together to intentionally form a wedge to block for the ball carrier. Now, it's point of note, it's a live ball foul whether there's contact between opponents. Just the formation of the wedge becomes a foul. Now, we must remember that it's not a foul if the kicking team is in an obvious onside kick formation or if the play results in a touchback, free kick out of bounds, or a fair catch. So let's look at some plays that illustrate what is and is not an illegal wedge formation. Now, this first play we're going to look at, there's actually two wedges that are formed here. We're going to initially look at the back end at about the -45. You're going to see two players come together right there, shoulder to shoulder, and form a wedge, and that's clearly a foul. But then also back up the field, what you're going to see at the +45, two players come together, again, shoulder to shoulder to block for the ball carrier, and so that is a foul as well. So there's actually two-man wedges that are formed on this play that both would be considered fouls. Now, play two, we're going to look at in the deep players. They're very clean, no wedge formed here, and so no foul. But if we go back and look at the front end of the formation at the -35, we're going to see two players come together shoulder to shoulder to block, and this would be a foul. Since there is a return, this would be a foul for an illegal wedge formation. Now, this play three, in the back end, you're going to get a clear wedge formation. Now, we have a touchback here, so there's no foul, but clearly there's a foul there. And then also on the front end, you're going to see right at about the -30, we'll circle it up, and that is, again, a wedge formation where these two guys get shoulder to shoulder. And so both of these would be fouls. However, it's a touchback, so there's no foul on the play. Now, here's another play that's a touchback, but we'll use players as an illustrative view. First of all, these two guys about the 12-yard line in the back end of the formation, clearly they come together to form a wedge, and if there's a return, they're going to block. So that would be a foul. But I want to point out on the front end of this, about at the -40, what you're going to see is a double-team block done properly where it is not a foul. You see the initial contact, and then a player comes from a different level to actually double-team this player. So this would not be a foul. This is not an illegal wedge formation, done properly. Now, here again, we're going to see at the back end, a clear wedge formation at about the 15. They come together, shoulder to shoulder, actually holding hands, and regardless of if they block together, that's a foul. Now, I want to point out on the front end at the -30, here's another double-team block that's really not a foul. You see these two guys, they're never going to come together shoulder to shoulder, but they do double-team a player, and so that's done properly. That would not be a foul. Now, play six, you're going to see, again, on the back end, done very well. No wedges formed as these players come together to block, so they do that properly. But we're going to see on the front end, at about the -30, right here, these two players come together clearly to block for the runner, and so this would be a foul on the front end of this kick formation. So I hope this video is helpful as you prepare for the season, and best of luck to all.